Hi, any of you guys going to March Madness?
He is.
Then I'm Mr. Krzyzewski.
Coach Krzyzewski.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I have a doctor who looks just like him.
So cool. This is great. Keep going. Hey, Billy Packer. Hi. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? Hi. Grant Hill, please. Tell him this is his coach. Is this Jason Kidd? Jason, baby. Hey, forget about the pros. Why don't you transfer over to Duke? Hi. Yeah, I'm calling for Big Dog. I'd like to leave a 4 a.m. wake-up call. Yeah, no, it's okay.
First time in a limo, Coach?
First time without my good pal Bobby Knight.
Think you're going to the Final Four this year, Coach?
Hey, aren't you Coach Krzyzewski?
You mean Krzyzewski? Yes, I am.
Back by popular demand, that one. We thank you for all your nice calls and letters about that one. You know, it's only 150 miles from the Duke campus in Durham to the Charlotte Coliseum, but as Florida prepares to battle Duke, we've actually got a pair of Coach K's, Lon Kruger of the Gators and Mike Krzyzewski of the Blue Devils. Tip time at 8:15 Eastern Time, and of course, the winner will play Arkansas for the national championship on Monday night. Meantime, let's break this game down. I just want to throw this out. You know, Mike Krzyzewski's been here 7 out of the last 9 years. Florida's never been here. This loosey-goosey Florida attitude that I'm seeing down there, does that help them?
Well, they're going to have the jitters. It took Barbara Streisand 25 years and $10 million to get over stage fright. It's going to be there without question, but they have to do what Arkansas did. Arkansas early in the game went inside, got some layups, developed their confidence. If they rely on the jump shot, like Damon Stoudemire did early on, they could lose their confidence.
Well, now, that's how Arkansas handled its case of the jitters if they were in the first game. On the side of Florida, the inside game is really a game by committee, center by committee. What do you expect Florida to do?
Well, the Clark is a big piece to the Florida puzzle. Because of the great backcourt, he doesn't get enough credit. The thing I'm afraid of most in this game is Andrew DeClercq getting in foul trouble. He's prone to foul too much, and I'm worried about that more than anything else in front of this Florida basketball team.
And as far as Florida is concerned, you mentioned Andrew DeClercq, a very speedy big guy who likes to get out much like the Arkansas big men.
Right. He'll look to break early and look to get out and outrun some of the opponents to get layups.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Duke. One wrinkle that we can expect to see, there's an awful lot of respect for the guards of Florida and their ability to penetrate by getting to the middle of the floor. Duke will try to fan those guys. You play Florida. Is that a very successful tactic?
Yes, it is. And what Duke will also do is what we did with Travis Ford. We put our point guard on Brian Thompson. They'll probably do that Collins on Thompson, and they'll have Grant Hill guard Brown.
And the reason that Grant Hill will be on Craig Brown is Craig Brown, that is a very streaky shooter. Grant Hill will try to keep him from getting into that groove. The big guys, Dimitri Hill. Again, Duke will try to turn these guys into the middle and receive some help. If, in fact, Dimitri Hill goes and checks Andrew Lang, then Duke will try to exploit the quickness. Is Dimitri Hill quick of foot to go outside of the block?
No, he can't guard him. I think what you're going to see Florida do is every time the ball goes inside, they're going to collapse hard, force Duke to make the outside shot. Duke has the matchup advantage. They have so many situations that they can take advantage of in this game, and Florida does not. I think Florida's going to say, if you're going to beat us, let it be from the outside.
All right, we'll find out what happens.
All right, gentlemen, you know, the Gators basketball program began to grow in stature over the last 2 seasons. Ironically, just as their big man on campus began to shrink. His name is Dimitri Hill, and the weight off his shoulders is now a burden on his opponents.
Well, Dimitri, actually came to us about 350. During the season, he's been playing around 285.
Want to make fun of Hill's bulk? Go ahead. But remember, Dimitri's already heard it all. What kind of names do you think they may lay on you out here because of your size, you know?
I guess big boy or wide body, something like that.
Well, you don't care, right?
No, it doesn't bother me.
I am the way of the future.
The future is bright for Dimitri. He's only a sophomore, and his game is getting better and better. He relies on a variety of shots, including dumb meat hook. Yet for all his savvy, at every press conference, he's asked the same old stuff.
Mr. Hill, what is it you like to dine on so much, and what is it that you've cut back on to become so slim and trim?
smile for the reporters. They don't care much about how the rec center and the basketball courts helped save Dimitri from the poverty and the dangers one finds growing up in South St. Petersburg, Florida, and about how Hill had to overcome a broken home and the sudden death of his legal guardian to make it safely to college.
Growing up, it was very rough. I mean, drug-infested neighborhood. I was just like right next door. There's a lot of drug trafficking going on, and it was just something I was just fortunate to get away from.
Hill's escaped those mean streets, and now the way he plays, the way he looks, the way he mugs for the camera, reminds folks of an earlier round mound of rebound.
He does a great job of getting balance, getting the position that he wants. And the jump hook is pretty much an unstoppable shot if it's used the right way. He does a terrific job with it. Got any advice for Demetrius? Hey, just take it at the big fellas.
There it is, one yes, I am. Coming up, Florida and Duke. We'll send you back to Jim and Billy when the Final Four continues on CBS after a message from your very own local station. See you later.
The Razorbacks having already defeated Arizona 91-82. Florida and Duke next. And welcome back, everybody, courtside. Jim Nance with you. What we have here is the most dominant college basketball program in the last decade. Duke in its 7th Final Four in 9 years against the Florida program that has never been to the Final Four until today. Let's show you the road to the Final Four for these two schools. First, Duke coming out of St. Petersburg in the Southeast. Texas Southern, Michigan State, 12, 11, 10, and 9-point margins of victory with Purdue, the final victim to get here. Florida won the East, a squeaker over James Madison. This was out of Long Island, and then they beat Pennsylvania. On to the regional final in Miami, UConn in overtime, and beat up on Boston College by 8 to advance here again for the first time ever. All right, Billy Packer, we had in the first game Corliss Williamson, a star player, but Grant Hill certainly one of the real stars of college basketball, and he's been here before.
Well, Jim, when we talked about this tournament getting started, we talked about Donyell Marshall could put a team in his back, Glenn Robinson, and we talked about Grant Hill having that same capacity. He has not failed in that occasion in regard to bringing this team to the Final Four. Driving on the inside, great rebounding, outstanding defensive play, tremendous all-around player. Here's the crossover dribble and finishing off with a dunk. One of the nation's best.
People just now finding out about this Florida backcourt, including Dan Cross. What about him?
All-SEC performer, just a junior, outstanding scorer, and they put the ball in his hands in all the key situations. He has the ability to pull up for the jumper, shoot long range, and when the clock gets down under 10 seconds, expects Florida to clear out with a little 1-4, put it in Cross's hands, and he has been able to deliver all year long. An excellent backcourt performer.
All right, it's Duke and Florida, and the starting lineups are coming up in just a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1994 NCAA Basketball National Semifinal game is sponsored by Chevrolet, the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. UPS, now introducing the Worldwide Express on-time guarantee. And by Doritos Tortilla Thins.
Let's get the Packer checklist. What to look for in Game 2.
Now, Jim, inside, I think Parks and Lang going to have to dominate inside, score twice as many points as Hill and DeClerc. On the other hand, Cross and Brown going to have to do that to the Duke guards. And then you have a situation of the 3 C's, somewhere Capel, Collins, and Clark. If Duke is going to prevail, they'll have to have 18 points and keep their turnover level down to 5 or less. And then Grant Hill, the complete package. We talk about can he put them on their back and carry them? We'll see early.
Time for the starting lineups. Let's send it over to the public address announcer, as always, in the Final Four, Frank Fallon.
Welcome to the Charlotte Coliseum for the NCAA National Semifinal game between the Florida Gators and the Duke Blue Devils. And now let's meet the starting lineup. For Florida, and a forward, a 6'10 junior from Clearwater, Florida, number 55, Andrew DeClerc. For Duke, at forward, a 6'8 senior from Reston, Virginia, number 33, Grant Hill. For Florida, at forward, a 6'6 sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, number 3, Brian Thompson. For Duke, at forward, a 6'8 senior from Mobile, Alabama, number 21, Antonio Lang. For Florida, at center, a 6'7 sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, number 35, Dimitri Hill. Duke at center, a 6'11 junior from Huntington Beach, California, number 44, Cherokee Parks. For Florida, the guard, a 6'3 junior from Carbondale, Illinois, number 12, Dan Cross. For Duke at guard, a 6'5 freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina, number 5, Jeff Capel. For Florida guard, a 6'3 senior from Stoughton, Pennsylvania, number 4, Craig Brown. For Duke at guard, a 6'3 sophomore from Northbrook, Illinois, number 20, Chris Collins. And the coaches for Florida in his 4th season, Lon Kruger. For Duke in his 14th season, Mike Krzyzewski.
So the battle of the Coach K's about to begin. Billy, I think this idea that this is a home court advantage for Duke here in Charlotte, North Carolina, is really overplayed.
It really is, Jim. And as I said, they were here just a few weeks ago to play for the ACC tournament. They won the regular season, but they came in. They struggled against Clemson in their opener, and then they were knocked off by Virginia in the ACC semifinal. So this has not been a place where they dominate.
Find a way. That is the motto that Kruger has sold his team on, and he's giving them that urging one last time. Find a way. Jim Stupin from Cypress, California. David Libby, San Diego, California. Ed Hightower from Alton, Florida. The winner to play Arkansas for the national championship Monday night. Parks back to Collins, and Duke gets underway with Capel.
Let's see the matchup. It looks like it's Brown on Hill.
And DeClerc reaches right in, commits the foul on Parks.
Jim, I thought that matchup would be Thompson to guard Grant Hill. And then maybe it was just a switch. Let's look for that early.
DeClerc and Parks actually went on a recruiting trip to Duke together when they were in high school. DeClerc was told that he was probably 6 or 7 on Duke's list, the likes of Glenn Robinson, Chris Webber, Cherokee Parks, and Mike Krzyzewski's wish list. He says, hey, I can't blame him. One guy's already in the NBA, and probably 3 or 4 other guys that signed with him will be too.
Exactly, and to be 7th on a list with a coach, he said, was honest to me that they were only going to take 5, meant that somebody had to pull out for him. Cherokee Parks liked the visit, though. He signed as soon as he got back home. He was ready.
Cross. Blocking foul on the baseline against Capel.
Dan Cross, a tremendous penetrator. He's got the body. All SEC performer.
Non-shooting foul, is it? No, they're going to say it wasn't the act of shooting. There's a little confusion.
Well, you know, Capel was ready to guard him. We haven't had many foul shots that have had a defender on the foul shooter.
So give him 2 at the line, Dan Cross.
And Jim, one of the most unusual free throw shots that I have seen. The ball spins. You know, you're the golfer. You know the setup should be the same every time. He does the same thing every time, but very unusual. Spins the ball in his hand and releases before it really comes down and sets in his fingertips.
Still spinning in his hand as he releases it. It's 1 of 2.
Going inside, trying to play over the top of Dimitri Hill is Cherokee Parks.
Florida surrounding that rebound. Cross driving, firing, Lang with the rebound. Ahead to Hill in the middle.
The big difference in the Duke team this year. Normally, Bobby Hurley would be the guy in the middle, and then Grant Hill could go ahead and be the finisher. This year, he has had to be the guy on the point. Took away a lot of his slashing, finishing ability.
No foul call. They strip it away. DeClerc couldn't find the handle.
Got to think of where you're throwing that ball. DeClerc has great speed for a man 6'10". Terrific defender coming off the great game against Boston College. But he really, that was almost an impossible catch. Willie Mays style over the top of the head. Back to the days of the say hey kid, but DeClerc is not that kind of center field.
Collins.
And a real key for Duke. Does Collins get off to a fast start with his three-point shooting? That's what they're counting on him for.
He's made only 1 out of 13 in the last 3 games from three-point land. Long rebound to Hill. No field goal in this game so far. Trailer is left. Time for Duke.
Well, those two guys have played together for 4 years. There's Bobby Hurley. Normally the guy, as I said, would be in the center of that break. Grant Hill doesn't do a bad job himself.
Charge called against Florida. We've seen a lot of dunks at the Final Four by Antonio Lang in his career.
Jim, here's two fellas that are used to playing with each other. The timing was absolutely perfect on the trailer play for Antonio Lang.
Co-captains.
Good step out. Club is really well drilled defensively. And it is Thompson now on Grant Hill, the matchup that I expected.
Capel dumps it inside. Lang hacked on the way up, they say. Dimitri Hill will be whistled for it.
Jim, I think they're going to call it on Cross.
They are. They
tried
did.
to strip. Yeah.
Okay. So Cross commits it, and what a difference, Billy. 4 tournament appearances for Florida. 11 Final Fours for the Duke program in history.
Well, remember in 87, 88, and 89, those Dwayne Schimpf's teams with Norm Sloan played very well. Lost to Syracuse in the Eastern Regional. They lost to Michigan in 88, and then lost in the opening round to Colorado State in 89.
Put that in perspective, Florida's been to the NCAA tournament 4 times. North Carolina A&T's been 8 times. Tennessee, Chattanooga 6, Furman 6. You know, programs that you would think wouldn't have as many trips.
Well, the reason for it is obviously Kentucky dominated the league for so long, and there's Dimitri Hill using that body of his, the wide body, and I won't put him in the class with Corliss Williamson as far as a talent and doesn't have the height, but he uses the body to extend the defender, gets off the floor quickly, has soft hands and quick feet for a man that's 270 pounds.
All that went on Lang for reaching in.
Jim, when we say he has stripped down to 270, how about the story about Lon Kruger seeing him for the first time at, what, 350?
Steve Spurrier, the football coach, saw him the first time and thought he had himself a football recruit.
The middle of a line. Not a good pass by Capel.
Cross read it. Good no-look pass. DeClerc too strong. Off Duke.
See that good block out by Cross? Again, realizing he couldn't go over Lang, blocked him out, made it impossible for Lang to capture the rebound. Duke zoning out of bounds.
Parks steals it.
Nobody underneath the basket. Wise play by Capel to hold it outside. Thompson, very good overplay defender.
Parks really wanting it. Hill held him up for a while, and then Parks too strong.
DeClerc coming over to double team Cherokee. He's got to recognize that somebody had to be open.
Cross, three-pointer. Well, he pulled back out and almost got to shoot a flat-footed three.
Nice, wise play. Dimitri Hill setting a screen, actually occupied 2 defenders trying to get around that big body. DeClerc stepping out again. Seeing some solid man-to-man defense.
Boy,
by
are you.
Florida.
Yeah. Terrific. They're all over you.
Yes, sir. They have that philosophy that you play your man. He does not beat you on the dribble. They don't do a lot of helping out until a man makes a penetrating move.
Hill outside. The Clerk slaps it up off the glass, and Parks clears it.
The other thing that Florida has is excellent defensive balance. When the shot goes up, tough to break against them, and Duke is not a good fast-breaking team. Again, not a natural point man out there for Duke.
That was pretty pure right there, huh?
Well, Grant Hill just setting him up. Thompson expecting him to drive a little further.
Tough shot. Dimitri Hill at the other end. That last basket by Grant Hill moved him ahead of Jeff Mullins on the all-time scoring list at Duke into 9th place.
Was with Jeff Mullins this morning at the YMCA Yes Clinic for Kids, doing a great job out at UNC Charlotte. Played in 2 Final Fours for Duke, 63 and 64.
Yeah, Florida has the numbers if they want it. Brown pull up. The Clerk, beautiful tip.
Well, there was a case where Chris Collins tried to be a rebounder instead of blocking out, as we saw Cross do so wisely before, and DeClercq went right over him. It looks like right now Duke expecting Grant Hill, another good step out that time by Dimitri Hill.
Three-pointer.
Well, we talked about the total player, and he has not yet started to work on the inside.
The three-point shot is something he only attempted 3 times his first 2 years in college.
That's right.
This year, almost 100.
And again, primarily because he was the finisher on the break and played in the low post.
There's Demeet Hutton.
And not the shot, if you're Lon Kruger, that you really want. They can get a better shot than that, and particularly to employ Brown to get some shots for him, coming off the big game against BC.
Ooh, they had Parks cutting through the lane. The Clerk got a hand on it. The Clerk right over Lang and one.
Referees tell him to calm down a little bit. But the Clerk, with a great speed that we talked about early on, able to finish off on that break.
This is the second on Lang.
Lang was up there, but the Clerk too strong. And Jim, you know, maybe the biggest play for Florida in this entire tournament was something the Clerk did accidentally, is getting his foot out and blocking and actually having the ball go off his foot again in the JMU game when Dennis Leonard was off to the races potentially to hit a 3 to knock Florida out in the opening round.
That was last possession of the game.
That's
2-point game. Long rebound to Hill, and now pull up. The Clerk.
Florida giving Duke one and done.
Anderson just in off the glass. That's Jason Anderson, 6'4" sophomore from College Park, Georgia.
Just drops off slightly from what Thompson gives them as a defender, but brings a lot more offense to the table.
Eric Meek, Marty Clark have come in for Duke. Clark, number 3, Meek, 52. And a steal. That's the second time Cross on the cross-court pass has stolen it. And a travel call. Finally, an official's timeout. 12:51 to go, first half. There's been 5 lead changes, but the Gators here for the first time lead it by 2. Parks in there for Duke, and the Norwegian collegian for Florida, Svein Dirkobolten from Bergen, Norway.
And Greg Williams came in during that timeout as well, so Lon Kruger going to his bench early, keeping a fresh team on the floor.
Greg Williams, number 10, manning up now against Capel.
Cherokee Parks being pushed around in there, but Lon Kruger can afford some fouls off the bench in the low post.
They brought in the low post, the other part of that Scandinavian skyline, Marti Kwiesma.
Duke has not had any semblance of a half-court offense so far because Florida's defense has just shut them out. The 3 for 9 from the floor, but they have not gotten any kind of shots. They've already got 4 turnovers.
Got to beat the shot clock. Hill blocked by Anderson, and they say they got a piece of the arm. Anderson.
Well, I said Anderson gives up a few inches from what Thompson gives him, but he doesn't fall off much defensively. This club, Jim, was number 1 in defense in the SEC this year, 3rd a year ago, and 1st the year before that. So fundamentally, we saw Arkansas, how well they can play. This club led their league, the SEC.
Hill, the MVP of the Southeast Regional, and all ACC, but he was 1 vote shy of being unanimous. I would love to know who did not have him first team all ACC.
And obviously All-American as well.
Yeah. How do you not vote him all ACC?
Well, you know, there are some people, you know.
Marty Clark on Anderson.
Nice job defensively. Parks helping out.
So the only starter on the floor is Cross for Florida.
Nice patience by Florida. But now they get the ball with it under 10 to Cross. He's the finisher.
Good shot. That's a 2-pointer.
Then they call him the delegator. And he does that. You'll see him just have a sense when that clock gets down around 10 that the ball is in his hands.
Marty Clark.
Nothing easy against this team.
Capel hit on the hand when he shot it. Count it, +1.
Capel coming off the great game against Purdue. 35 minutes he was in there. 7 for 12. 3 for 3 in threes. 19 points, 7 assists. It's a game of your life as a college freshman.
Since freshmen became eligible in 1973, Billy, no freshman starting point guard has led a team to a national championship, although Bobby Hurley, who we saw in the stands a little while ago, he got all the way to the final as a freshman. And there's Capel's dad, the coach at North Carolina A&T. 3-point play by Capel, puts Duke up 1. Capel says, I don't feel like a freshman.
Well, they played a lot of games against a lot of quality competition, but he is a freshman. And, of course, one freshman at least got to the Final Four. And here he is sitting right there, Bobby Hurley and his brother Danny, who we're happy to hear will be playing again next year at Seton Hall. Sat out this year.
Bobby, as a freshman, went all the way to the championship game against UNLV.
And certainly remembers that game.
Yep.
Not one of his better days. UNLV was so great.
Williams saved the backcourt violation.
Here we see the step out. He's doing a lot of the same things that Florida does defensively as far as their fundamentals are concerned.
Marty Clark called for reaching in on Kuzma.
And Jim, so we don't get any calls. There'll probably be somebody, particularly down in this state, that will say, there was a freshman guard that led a team to a national championship, but we were talking about point guards. Exactly. Of course, we're referring here to the guy that may call in, talking about Michael Jordan. He was just a freshman at the time, back in '82.
Kuzma from Helsinki, Finland. When Ron Kruger first met Kuzma said to him in a little bit of broken English, I know rebounds.
Well, he also
signed him up.
He also knows shooting. Last year he made 50 of 123 threes, 41%. So he can stroke it from out there and free throws as well.
Yep. Seventh lead change already with the 2 free throws from Kuzma. Banging underneath, they're going to call Kuzma with the body on Parks.
Jim, I like the strategy early for Florida, using Kuzma on the inside with Parks. He can afford the foul. He can afford to bang and wear him on down. And here we see DeClerc coming back in the game. Kuzma did exactly what was expected of him.
DeClerc back in. Also returning is Brown for Williams.
You kind of get the feeling that Lon Kruger is wanting to play this game to keep it as close as he can, as long as he can, and wear Duke down in the meantime.
and have the starters as fresh as possible down the stretch.
He goes zone out of bounds. No passing lanes available. Capel, three-pointer. Not exactly soft. You don't see that kind of shot go back in, and who's it going to be against?
I'm going to call
They
push off.
Well, we'll see it here. You see this shot go up, Jim. You very seldom see a shot from the side that hits this hard and gets the sweet kiss off the backboard.
That was a call against Florida's Anderson underneath. I think Duke had resigned itself to the fact the whistle was against them.
Well,
and they were retreating back to get on defense.
You know, the only guy that seemed to have a handle on all of that was Capel. There's the freshman again. And we certainly didn't see it, but one of the officials did, and that's Anderson's second.
And that's Florida's 7th, so it's a 1-and-1 for Eric Meek.
And Jim, the old trademark from Duke starting to take place early in this game. So far in the tournament, they have shot 107 free throws. The opponents have shot only 54. So they've doubled the output. They've made 78. Imagine this, Duke in 4 games has made 78 free throws. Their opponents have only shot 54. They're getting the line often and early already here today.
That is the 9th attempt already for Duke in the game's first 9.5 minutes.
Back to the original starting lineup this morning.
Cross three-pointer. Boy, he's on early.
Perfect rotation on the shot. Clark did not get out there. He's too dangerous a scorer to leave that wide open.
Clark reaches around, makes the steal.
Grant Hill gave that away, kind of telegraphed the pass.
Brown.
Nice foul. Didn't get the shot.
He
Nice
thought
foul.
he made up. Clark, two-pointer inside the arc. What a motion he plays with.
Right now, Florida getting better shots at the basket than is Duke.
Florida back in front. Grant Hill. Someone got a piece of him.
I think Grant Hill is way beyond his years in terms of his ability to draw the foul. As soon as he felt the contact, he let the ball go. It was almost incidental, but he drew a 2-shotter here.
Brian Thompson's second. It'll be a 1-and-1 for Hill. Part of that senior success with Lang and Clark. 17-1 record they've amassed in the NCAA.
Well, Jim, think about something here. The 3 seniors have a chance to do something. You have to go way back to Larry Farmer.
Last guy to win 3
national championships.
Right? 71 through 73.
Correct. 1973, and people think, maybe, well, how about Walton? Well, he didn't play as a freshman. He was defeated as a senior. And Kareem, who we saw earlier watching the ball game, of course, not only was involved in 3 championships, was 3 times the MVP. Playing way out on Cross. Cross will take Collins if he's that far away.
Cross. 3-pointer strong. Here's Brown. Dumps it to Dimitri Hill.
Nice teamwork.
We've already had 9 lead changes in this game.
Grant Hill have a hard time beating a guy like Brown that far away from the basket. He has not been able to post up low yet today.
Cherokee turnaround.
Dimitri Hill will not try to block that shot. Just play for position.
Got it around. Dimitri makes it home. Had a little soft
that was a beautiful
action
shot.
on that, huh?
Not only did he have good deployment on the low post, but he realized Grant Hill was coming across and still got it up.
Grant Hill at the other end.
That may be his favorite shot. Driving it to the foul line, pulling up for the jumper.
Back and forth we go. 11 lead changes.
You see Cross, he straddled across the lane. He was actually putting his good ear to Lon Kruger so he could hear what he was saying and still beat the 10-second count. Boy, he rubs off Hill. He'll set some screen, doesn't he?
You're not going to move him around too much.
There they double down on Hill.
Duke got a piece of it. Marty Clark off to the races.
Clark can go up there.
Yes, he does. Just like he did in the East Regional. A mighty swat into the stands.
On that one, he had perfect timing and plenty of space to do it. In the Eastern Regional against Howard Isley, he chased him down from 8 feet. Swiped that across the lane.
Officials, timeout. Billy, you think this was goaltending?
Yes, I do, Jim, and I'll tell you why. If any portion of the ball is in the cylinder when it's touched, and there the ball, a portion is in the cylinder and it's touched, that should have been 2 points. But still, a great hustle move on DeClerc's part. The officials didn't see it that way, so Duke will have it.
Clark scored on the baseliner. He's looking around. He says, I got hit with the body.
Well, and a body.
Collins launches it.
Collins 0 for 2 from 3. Critical for Duke. When you get a wide open shot from a man who's got that assignment, he's got to bury it.
Here it is.
How about that?
4 games, 1 of 15 now.
Somebody's open.
And there he is.
It had to be open. You had 2 men on 1.
The clerk travels.
And Thompson, as we said, not a big offensive performer. He had a stretch where he went 8 games without scoring. But he gives you the defense. I'm really surprised that they haven't put Hill down in the low post and try to feed him down there with Brown on him.
Marty Clark drains a 3-pointer.
Tim Clark has been totally ineffective down the stretch here in the NCAA tournament. Did not score in the last 2 games.
Collins almost got the steal. Ross lays it up and draws the foul. 2-shot situation. That foul called, I believe, on Lang. And that's number 3 if it is on Lang.
Lang's going out, and Jim, Duke is going to a 3-guard. Well, Marty Clark can move up to play a forward, but the 3 C's are now in the game, and we talked about how important they are to Duke. For somebody to step up out of that group, neither as a unit or individually having the big game.
That was the 3rd on Lang, so he's out. And Dimitri Hill, replaced by Spain Dirkobolten.
Game very much as anticipated. The game would probably be played in the low 60s. Neither team gives up many easy baskets.
Ross from Illinois actually shot some hoops, just practicing with Chris Collins of Duke there in the summer.
Yeah, they talked to each other on the phone about getting to the Final Four possibly. They matched up some. There's where I thought Grant Hill would operate, down in low. 3rd time today.
Steal by Thompson this time. Thompson to the rack, and Clark got him on the arm.
Oh, they called this intentional. That's ridiculous.
That'll be 2 shots.
Yeah, Marty Clark went for the block.
2 shots plus possession for Florida.
You see him going directly up here for the block, makes a very nice attempt for the block.
Got a lot of the ball, too.
Sure, this is a terrific play. No business calling that an intentional foul, not even close. Watch this right here. Almost makes a great block.
Thompson will shoot a couple, and Florida will bring it in.
Tim Thompson, just a 47% free throw shooter. Gets 1.
Florida 5 out of 10 from the line.
So you have an interesting situation. DeClerc blocks one down at the other end, very similar, gets a clean block, and not only does Duke not get a clean block out of it, they end up getting an intentional foul call.
Clark was involved in both plays. Here's Thompson. Beautiful pass.
Backdoor cut. DeClerc, with that 6'10" height, went right over the top of the defense. Florida on a nice run.
They tied it at 29.
You see where you have Grant Hill now down in the low box, but the Clerk's guarding him, and he really has an advantage there, so Grant takes him outside.
Grant Hill. Oh, against the Grant Hill, they call it.
Takes the basket away.
No basket.
And the foul. You see, Grant Hill beats the Clerk. Dickerbolton comes over.
Tell you, the ball left his hand, Billy, before the contact.
You'll see it right here. There's the crossover dribble by Grant Hill. Dickerbolton comes over. The good bounce off the glass for Grant Hill. He asked for the basket, and it gets wiped out.
Eric Meek in for Duke.
Solid screen for Brown. He could have taken advantage of it. Dickerbolton using a big body in there.
Underneath, travel.
Nice job by Meek to come over. We're seeing both teams employing excellent help defense.
Say, Craig Brown, who has been so outstanding in this tournament for Florida, the MVP of the East Regional, he has not scored, but the Gators are tied at 29.
Now he's being guarded by Grant Hill, who held Glenn Robinson to 13, so that's not totally surprising. Last year's IBA Award winner, the best defensive player in the country. Interesting the way Florida changes who's guarding Grant Hill. He hasn't been able to get into a rhythm offensively.
Hill, Meek on the follow. Taylor was a hand in the net, and it's going to belong to Florida.
The net is still up in the rim. That's okay to get it in the net as long as the ball is not in the basket. We'll fix the net, I would hope. I hope that's the referee said. Jim, there was a case where Eric Meek had an opportunity to catch the ball with two hands, put it back up on the glass. He made a difficult play out of an easy one. Game's being called very tight now on the inside.
Push-off call against DeClerc, his second. And in for the Gators, Dimitri Hill, along with Marty Kuzma.
See the plays on the inside, setting good screens. The Clerk moving well when he wrapped his hands around the backside, but that's kind of a touch foul. The Clerk very disappointed with it, and probably well should be.
Meek will go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. Florida over 50%. Look at this, 7 ties, 14 lead changes. Duke's biggest lead was 4. Florida's largest lead, 2. 1-and-1. Meek earns another one.
Jim, that field goal shooting percentage, Michigan State, although they lost to Duke by 9, shot 58% from the floor against Duke. Of course, a big difference in free throw shooting. Duke were 25 for 33 for the foul line, and once again, that's the way that they stay in a lot of games.
Anderson has returned to the Florida lineup. .430 remaining in the first half. The winner plays Arkansas Monday night for the national championship.
There's that matchup you talked about. Hill on Brown.
Whoops, little miscommunication there. Kuzma with Anderson cutting to the basket. And a turnover, the 9th turnover against Florida.
Although Lon Kruger has not taken Florida to this position in the NCAA tournament, he took Kansas State to a regional final back in '88. And that Kansas State club lost to Kansas and Danny Manning. A team that eventually went on to win the national championship. Good hands by Florida.
Brown, though, from behind has it taken away by Capel. Right back in total chaos come the Gators with Anderson inside.
How often does a coach say to a player on a loose ball, pick it up, don't try to make a play? That's what Meek tried to do. Florida turned it over on him.
Double up.
Great double down by Brown.
Called for traveling. Go to the officials' timeout.
What if there were no sports? If you couldn't join a team, what will you join? If you couldn't dream a touchdown, what will you dream? What if you did something? What if you cleaned up an old ball field or put up a new rim? What if there were no sports? Would I still be your hero?
Obviously, there's a few catalogs that have already been marketed towards the gay community. This catalog came about just, I think, because we wanted to be able to have a catalog that sort of represented the gay community in a little bit of more of a truer sense in a broader range.
The cover model was James Dale. He was a Boy Scout who was kicked out of the Boy Scouts after he came out of the closet. So he's gotten a lot of notoriety because of that. And also Holly Near, who's a very well-known lesbian singer-songwriter. Oh, Joe Steffen, he was of the Navy. He was in the Naval Academy, and he was kicked out also when he came out of the closet. And Edgar Rodriguez is with the New York Police Department, and he's very out, and he's head of an organization of gay and lesbian police officers in New York City. They were all approached, and they were all very excited about it, the idea of providing positive role models for the gay and lesbian community.
Some of these shirts are from smaller vendors and people that are just starting in some small businesses, and then a few of them are from larger vendors. We have a company called Don't Panic that does a lot of our supplies of shirts.
And this is the Kenny Angel doll for the top of your Christmas tree. It's for every boy who dreamed of being Barbie.
We've had an extremely positive response. Of course, we've had, there's been a lot of publicity surrounding this catalog, but we've had almost no negative response whatsoever. I mean, there's been a few mainstream major newspapers that have done stories on us, and we've received over the phone calls. The first few days, the lines were inundated with calls from across the country.
In general, gays and lesbians are feeling more empowered, and gay and lesbian consumerism is one form that empowerment takes. So I think people are feeling more confident about coming out and showing the buying power of the gay and lesbian dollar.
Bring Newton, Greg Newton in, the freshman from Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Recruited as one of the top players to come out of Canada, maybe ever. Has seen limited playing time this year, needs to probably develop his strength, but he'll certainly be a factor at Duke in years to come. Very aggressive young player.
Hold called on Newton.
Pretty tough to take the ball away from those hands. He has that odd combination of soft hands and yet strong hands. And as I said, Corliss Williamson is a better player, but they both possess an unusual ability for men that size and that strong to have quick feet and soft hands.
Dimitri shooting a 1-1. He says he likes Charles Barkley's attitude on the court. He isn't afraid of anything. He's an intimidator. And I say this size.
Well, to give you an example, Jim, we talked about the way he plays this game. He only has 5 block shots in the year. I mean, here's a center for the #1 defensive team in the SEC with 5 block shots. He's a position defender.
He's given Florida its largest lead, a 3-point lead with 3 minutes to go first half.
How about Brown looking for help behind?
Capel with the left hand. There's Hill with the rebound. Anderson will pull it back out instead of challenging Grant Hill. Kuzma in the lane.
No, that's not going to work against the Florida club. They're too sound defensively.
Ross.
Oh, the referee never saw the play. It was goaltend that time, so I guess it's all fair now.
Collins, three-pointer. Park saves it. Beautiful save. And they snap it over to Hill on the other side.
He wants some of Hill. Newton. Second foul on Newton in a hurry. Jim, I think what happened to the official here, nobody expected Grant Hill to get a piece of this. He goes up, ball on the way down. Referee is ridden right out of bounds. That ball's on the way down. See, it hit the board on the way down. But Grant Hill is unbelievable. We have seen him, remember, as a freshman in the Kansas game, that incredible dunk that he made?
Started the game that way. Over the top of the backboard, down in one motion. Voted in Blue Devil Weekly, the all-time dunk in Duke history.
I guess that shows you the degree of Blue Devil Weekly. Florida now increasing that lead, got a chance to go up 5.
People wondered how a team and a coach who hadn't been in the Final Four would handle it. They don't seem at all intimidated by the moment.
Well, I think that's because of the quality of the league that they played in. When you look at their team this year, they lost at Arkansas 87-99. They lost to Kentucky twice. They beat Kentucky once. Good wins over Texas and Oklahoma State. And then, of course, their great run here in the NCAA tournament.
Hart on the pass from Hill. Cut into a Florida 5-point lead to reduce it to 3.
Cross really taking advantage of that high screen.
Capel on the wing, 3-pointer to tie. Long rebound to the Gators.
The long rebounds are all going to the Gators. They're beating Duke to the spot. Brown really respected Grant Hill defense. I mean, he's not even trying to challenge him when he gets the ball.
Anderson quickly to the basket. Boy, he got right by Capel. He has 6 off the bench.
Kruger getting great minutes out of Kuzma and Dirkabolten here in his first half.
Capel.
Nothing falling for Duke. Nice run for Florida.
Dirkabolten brings down the rebound. Now trying to increase the lead. And going to the line will be Anderson. He's given them some valuable time off the bench.
He really has, Jim. Great eye contact that time between Cross and Anderson. Cross saw him much earlier than this, and Anderson didn't go for the lob, so Anderson kept moving without the ball, knowing Cross would eventually get him. Good two-man basketball.
For Meek, his first 2 shots for Jason Anderson.
Well, Lon Kruger says this is the best athlete he's got on the club. He's had 10 double-figure scoring games, so although he's not a starter, he certainly offensively plays like one.
Well, he'll always remember his first free throw at the Final Four.
Now, he's laughing on that one. He can't believe it.
He looks back, and Greg Brown says, hey, that's okay. A little word of encouragement. Sophomore back to the line for one more.
Guarantee that one gets hurt.
Yep. Bring back in Brian Thompson.
So they give up a little offense, but they bring back Thompson for the last minute to play defense. And defense has been the name of the game during this run for Florida.
Florida's largest lead of the game now, 6 points. Capel. Yeah, Thompson all over him. He's beautifully defending him.
Exactly. They're giving Duke nothing but tough shots, and with Grant Hill having to play out on the point, he's getting nothing down in the low box. Duke is going to probably have to change their strategy to figure out how to get Grant Hill the ball low.
6 seconds difference on the shot clock to the game clock.
And with Cross out of the game, and that's who they'd like to have the ball right now, but it won't be him. Maybe Brown?
Well, Williams looking around.
They're trying to find Brown. Here he comes.
Thompson. Kuzma gets the rebound. They'll get the last shot of the half.
Kuzma's had a great first half.
Williams finds Thompson slicing in. And he was fouled. Will shoot 2.
Jim, Florida getting great play off the bench. Williams, Jason Anderson, Kuzma doing a terrific job.
Capel with his second. 2.2 seconds to go first half. held their spring football game down in Gainesville today. And as Craig Brown says, we might have been known for our football teams in the past, but now I think people realize we play a little basketball here too. And for everyone who hadn't seen them until today, the nation knows it now. They have a 7-point lead. Duke will get picked off here before the half on that pass. Brown, they say nope, wouldn't have counted anyway. Duke made only 2 of its last 12 from the field, and the Cinderella Florida Gators have a 7-point lead at the intermission. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA basketball tournament will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the 1994 NCAA Basketball National Semifinal game is sponsored by Pizza Hut, who reminds you that any time's a great time to stop and smell the pizza. The people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. And by AT&T, we help put your world within reach. The motor oil you can rely on for performance, protection, and quality.
Beautiful view of downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. We're at halftime in the second men's national semifinal. Florida leads Duke 39-32. The winner will play Arkansas for the national title on Monday night. Hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Welcome to Pennzoil at the Half. It's a pleasure to be watching the games along with my partner James Brown and Kentucky coach Rick Pitino. And Duke has its hands full.
No question about it, Pat. I think America now sees what Florida's all about. What you witnessed with Florida probably is the best foul line to basket defense in America today.
Rick, I guess let's quantify what that means. Florida has a tendency to make you play ugly. Duke only 36% from the field in the first half, 11 turnovers.
11 turnovers. Florida has a very experienced backcourt, but I think what I'm impressed with most in that game is the interior defense of their big people. They're not giving Florida any points in the paint, allowing them only 6 points.
I'm a little surprised. Grant Hill, obviously a very effective ball handler, but Rick, I think he's better working from the wing in. He's out high. Why?
He's handling the basketball, but Craig Brown is an excellent defensive player. What they need to do is get him curling off the low post, posting up more, and letting somebody else handle the ball.
All right, we're joined now by Arkansas coach Nolan Richardson. Razorbacks defeated Arizona 91-82 in Game 1, and we congratulate the Arkansas program. And Coach, let's talk about Corliss Williamson first. So what a step-up job that was today.
Well, you know, we really think Corliss Williamson is one of the best basketball players in the country. He's a young man, 19, possibly getting close to 20. But pound for pound, we think he's maybe the best power forward in the land.
I'm going to take a look at a couple of the keys of the game. We thought that run you had when you were on a 12-0 run, and then Stewart hits the three-pointer from the right side there, was really, I thought, the momentum change in the game.
Well, that was the breaking point, I thought. In other words, we get to a position that all we got to do is either get a steal, something good that happens. Big Dog stepped up and hit the three, and at that point we stepped up our defense. Corliss Williamson gets into the lane, steals it, and gets a dunk. I mean, right now we feel that we're playing pretty good basketball because we've stepped up the tempo.
Nolan, you've now seen 3 2-point defense opening up the game. Then you went to a 1-3-1. Then you went to a man-to-man, half-court pass. And then when he hit that three, what was the key? How did you get the full-court pressure on at that moment?
Well, what we had to do at that time, Rick, is, you know, you played us quite a few times, is that the thing that we had to do was to make sure that we put more pressure on Stoudemire and Reeves, because I thought they were beginning to show some signs of fatigue. I think we have what we call our 10-minute period where we think it's time for the break that will take place, and it's called breaking point. And at that stage of the game, we thought that Arizona had given us their best shot. We hadn't given ours yet. And so we believe that. And that's important when you believe it.
I told these guys the only time you get a break with Arkansas is when the game's over and you're at the restaurant.
Speaking of believing, you showed an awful lot of belief in Corey Beck, who came back in, Nolan, just under 12 minutes with 4 fouls. An awful lot of confidence he was showing.
Let me tell you, Corey Beck, pound for pound again. If I had an NBA job, I guarantee you the first player I would pick is the guy that knows how to win. And that's what Beck does for this basketball team. He knows how to win. All the other guards they talk about, all the guards shoot and do all these other things, but some of them don't know how to win. Beck knows how to win.
Nolan, you were also pretty intense in your conversation with Billy Packer. We've talked a lot about some of the outstanding guards around the country, and we thought Arizona certainly had two of the best. But yet, you said you really didn't fear them. Why not?
Well, you know, when you play guards like, say, the ones that Rick's got in the Southeast Conference, right now, Florida got two of the best guards in the country. Not only are they good guards, but they're big guards. They're 6'5" and 6'4", and then you're talking about little guards. I mean, big good players are better than little good players. You know, let's face it. And I want to say this real quick. Our leaders in the hospital and getting out, and that's Frank Worrell. He couldn't be here today. But I tell you what, all I can say is, we're one away, Frank. That's all I can say.
That's good news for him.
All right. We say hello to Frank as well. What about this Florida team giving Duke a battle this afternoon?
I've got the chance to see maybe the last 4 or 5 minutes of this ball game. But I said to Rick, of course, he and I were sitting there talking, that Florida is one of those teams, if you let them continue to do what they're doing, they don't beat themselves. You got to beat Florida. And that's where they are right now.
Coach, congratulations. Thanks for stopping up. We love the red boots, by the way. JB and I were admiring those.
I want a pair. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Earlier today, in case you missed it, in Richmond, the women held their national semifinals. Louisiana Tech defeated Alabama in the opener. They'll meet North Carolina, who downed Purdue in tomorrow's title game. And we'll have our coverage for you at 3:45 Eastern Time, right here on the home of the NCAA Championships. Well, that does it for this edition of the Pennzoil at the Half. Thank you for watching. Jim and Billy will rejoin you when the Final Four continues on CBS. Right after this, enjoy the second half. We'll talk to you after the game.
Pennzoil at the Half was sponsored by Pennzoil, the motor oil you can rely on for performance, protection, and quality.
Well, Billy, here was your checklist before the game, and let's take a look halfway through it.
Well, take in mind that Florida's winning the game. 2 points, double the points on the front line, Parks and Lang over Florida. They're not doing it. Florida's almost doubling it on Duke. Big advantage Florida in that regard. Cross and Brown double the points on the Duke guards. Well, not quite double, but almost, so a big plus for Florida right there.
And that's Brown without scoring in that half.
Exactly, Brown has not scored. Now the 3 C's from Duke, I said 18 points and no more than 5 turnovers. They're holding their own. They're right on schedule. 9 points, 2 turnovers. Grant Hill, the complete package. Well, today he is not exactly the complete package. 11 points, 2 rebounds, fine. Doing a great job on Brown defensively, but 6 turnovers, not a stellar performance. Florida in the lead, and you can see why.
Our coverage of the NCAA basketball tournament will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
For NCAA championship video by calling 1-800-747-7999. It's all here, from the excitement of the opening rounds to the drama of the Final Four. That's 1-800-747-7999 to get your official copy of the 1994 NCAA championship video.
This is CBS.
Hey, you want Nikes? This is the place. Nobody beats our selection of Nikes. Nobody. Quit talking. Just do it. Nike cross trainers, basketball shoes, running shoes, tennis shoes, it's all here. Dicks or Nike, 2 of the best players in the game.
You know what I paid for this case of Kendall oil? Nothing. I'm Cal Petty. Sure, Kendall pays me to use it, but I get a great oil that protects my engine. I just wear this cap and let Kendall put their stickers on my car. What a deal. Now, you can't get Kendall at the price I do, but right now you can get $3 off a case, and Kendall will throw in a racing cap with my name on it. $3 off, a racing cap, and no stickers on your car. Now, that's the deal. Kendall Motor Oil. Hey, man, buy it at these locations.
All right, Billy, we mentioned as they headed to the locker room that Duke had made only 2 of its last 12 from the field. Here's a look at where the shots were coming from.
Well, Jim, some of those inside what looked like good shots, but almost every one of those, if we could do a replay on a shot chart, we'd see that those shots were well contested by Florida's defense. A great defensive play.
All right, let's bring in with a locker room report. Here's Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Jim, in the Florida locker room, they're pretty happy. They have a couple of areas they'd like to concentrate on. They're doing a good job on the offensive board. They want to keep up their game in transition. They want to really concentrate on Grant Hill, stopping his penetration, actually getting in front of him, getting what Billy referred to, that great help defense. They said so far, though, they feel like it's going to happen. Jim?
What do you expect we're going to see here, Billy, second half?
The first thing that Mike Krzyzewski has to figure out is how to get some good looks for Cherokee Parks and for Grant Hill. Grant Hill has spent an awful lot of time in this game trying to orchestrate the offense as opposed to being part of it. Mike Krzyzewski went to the Lord there real quickly, and he may need the Lord and a few other things before this is over. Antonio Lang back on the floor with his 3 fouls. He sat out a lot of time. And if you're Lon Kruger, you just have to like the way your team played. They're a solid basketball club. They got great production off the bench. They're in the league without this man right here being an offensive factor.
Florida trying to make it an all-SEC final Monday night.
Florida played Arkansas once this year, down at Arkansas. Arkansas the winner. Short! There's another offensive rebound.
Hill open. Florida now with its largest lead of the game, 9-point advantage.
And picked up by a good solid rebound inside by Thompson. Nothing spectacular. This club's like a baseball pitcher that gets everybody out, and the guys go back to the bench saying they don't have anything.
8 ball. Rebound Florida.
The way that Florida plays close to the vest, Duke cannot afford to get down much more because you don't make big runs against a team that plays this solid a defense.
Ball kicked by Hill. Do keep in mind, though, that Duke has been down 10 points twice in the NCAA tournament, to Marquette and to Purdue, when they came back to win those games. They're down 9 here, first minute of the second half.
Cross came back to meet that pass, almost got away from him. High-low, Dimitri Hill posting up down inside again.
Brown.
Oh, good shot. Grant Hill right at him.
Timeout. Mike Krzyzewski and Duke. Double-digit lead for the Gators.
When the bill comes, pay at least half. You'll get it back later.
NCAA Basketball National Semifinal Game is sponsored by Toyota. I love what you do for me. O'Doul's, it's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. And by The Cowboy Way, a Universal picture starring Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland.
Watch how Cross pulls out through the pack. Grant Hill's going to get caught in the crowd. Brown's going to rotate. The ball comes back over. A score. Lost in the crowd is Grant Hill. Ball is rotated. Grant can't fight through the crowd. Brown gets to space. Too late even for Grant Hill. Florida to the biggest lead they've had in the game by 11.
Duke down 11. We mentioned twice they'd been down 10. They came back to win against Marquette and Purdue with those deficits.
Jim, I like the fact, though, that Mike Krzyzewski didn't wait for any TV timeout. He had to get their attention in a hurry. Florida in a position to blow this thing open.
And right in front of the coach, off the fingertips of Capel.
And it went over Mike Krzyzewski's head, and he never moved.
Duke has made 9 field goals and committed 13 turnovers.
I think they've got to try something new offensively to get moving, and that would be to put Grant Hill down low inside.
To Clark.
Everything coming up for Florida.
Second time he's nailed it from there. 2-pointer. He has 8.
Grant Hill down inside. Going to a low 1-4 now.
Hill. 3-pointer.
He's the answer, Jim. They've got to get him the ball and get him the ball low. He spent all day out at the top of the key. He can be defended much easier out there.
to Clerk. Hill at the other end with a rebound. Cross bats it right back to him.
Boy, this defense is great.
Well, they have to fight for everything. Lang misses the lay-in. Right back up, he'll go to the line. Thompson slapped him.
And Jim, going back last year to the NCAA tournament in the loss to California, Lang played 30 minutes and did not score. Today, Tony Lang has not been effective. And we talked early on about how the front court of Lang and Parks would have to double the front court of Florida, and they haven't gotten it done.
Well, he had 4 points in the first half, but had to sit out half of the first half. Played only 10 minutes because of the 3 fouls. He'll shoot a couple right now. Averaged 12 a game during the season.
That came off a 19.5 rebound game against Purdue. Made 7 of 13 from the field that day.
Duke comes back with 5 unanswered to cut it to 8.
And they touch their hands to the ground, something we saw in the Christian Laettner years that was a sign of tougher defense. There's that motion offense of Florida. The Clerk just manhandling Lang inside. Under 10.
Here's Brown. And he gets his own miss. Anderson lays it in.
Second huge offensive rebound, Jim, in the second half. The first one by Thompson led to a score, and that one by Brown.
Hill kicks it out. Collins to Capel. Wide open. Parks.
There's Grant Hill. Oh, boy, does he get hit.
Oh,
and that is why Steve Spurrier said, I think he could play for my team in football. You know, Spurrier, interesting story. Of course, he was a coach at Duke.
And now the Duke head coach, Greg Goldsmith, Spurrier's longtime friend, former assistant. Parks, shoot one more.
And, you know, Dimitri didn't go out of his way to put Grant Hill down. I mean, that was just a good forearm right to the shoulder.
I wouldn't be surprised at the end of his career if Dimitri Hill gets drafted in the NFL.
In the NFL,
not necessarily the NBA, the NFL.
Again, the wide body. Cherokee Parks makes the decision to go right. Pass is perfectly thrown by Cross. The wide body shields him off.
Parks.
Over Hill. Great shot. But Hills was done with technique. Cherokee's with height and talent.
Starting to trade baskets now. Anderson open. And Parks read it and stole it. Hill, pull up 3.
Ron Kruger has to look at that scoreboard and say, I don't know how long I let him make that run. He has not gone to the bench in this second half, something that worked so well for him in the first half.
Billy, that 13-point lead's down to 5.
Just as I say that, here come some guys off the bench.
Gets the chance to cut into it even a little more. 7 unanswered they've scored.
Antonio Lang with Hill on him. Hill a little tired now, Jim.
Great opportunity, Gators. The Clerk trailing.
If it goes, got it. How many of those has he finished off today? Excellent hands, and of course that great speed.
He's starting to lose control of it as he went up with it, but
yeah, he loses it maybe twice, Jim, on this play. And again, Cross. Excellent pass. 1, 2, 3. Let's try it. Yes, he did. That was the 3rd touch he had on that one play.
almost got it pinned against the front of the rim and got a chance to re-grab it. That almost looked like. There it is. This kid. Jim Calhoun at UConn says DeClercq plays every position like it's the final possession. That is, final possession of the game. That kind of intensity.
Another offensive rebound opportunity. Doesn't go. Ryan wanted the lob. Dangerous pass.
Batted away there by Dirk Bolton.
Not a good decision by Capel. Would have had to have been absolutely perfect. You notice how Florida starts their guards down in tight in all that mass, and then they pop out.
Cross.
Surprised at the shot selection at this point in the game, Jim. Florida was getting great shots, running their offense perfectly. Last few times down, they've taken shots that were a little suspect.
Collins has come in for Capel. 14:25 remaining. 51-44 Florida. Greg Williams in.
Jim, sometimes Duke making a big run like they have, and it's got to be a more tired team, particularly Grant Hill and Cherokee Parks, than is Florida. Florida's been able to rest their guys, particularly early in that first half. I think Florida's the fresher club.
Hill in the lane. Hits it in.
One of the 3 C's having a pretty solid game.
And one of the 3 seniors.
Well, he was important in another semifinal game to get them there when they beat Indiana as he hit those free throws in the last minute or so. Boy, nice ball faking by Cross.
Williams. They call that a 2-pointer.
Again, Grant Hill spending a lot of time, Jim, out here 25 feet away from the basket.
2-pointer. Chris Collins, one of the 3, but it's a 2. Foot on the line.
Anderson anticipating that Grant Hill would try to drive by him.
Cross working off that pick, comes up short.
Offensive rebound.
Under the basket, out to Collins. Clark coming down the far side. Collins, good move. Chris Collins for 2.
Excellent move. He was looking to make the pass first, instead took it all the way. Lon Kruger up off that bench, trying to slow his club down, realizing they're not getting as good as shots as they've been getting for a while. Duke looks a little zone here. Yep, they went zone to rest a little bit.
And Lang comes up with the defensive play. Duke needs a 3 to tie. Clark can do it right here. Short. DeClercq snaps it over to Williams. And they're going to call Clark for the push-off. Did not take Duke very long, though, Billy, to bring that 13-point deficit down to 3 as we see Clark pick up his 3rd.
But, Jim, even though they've made a tremendous run here, you're looking at a fatigue factor. Even if it may not be fatigue for the rest of the game, but now you try to get your second win when you make a great run like this. Lon Kruger has been able to patiently sit over there and say, okay, make your run. I'm going to have a fresh club come out and play it.
Some subs have come in. Martique Kuzma for Florida. Eric Meek for Duke among them. Brown's back in. Hill with his finish hook. Coming up short. The foul as Collins was trying to get around Hill. And an official's timeout. Florida 53, Duke 50. North Carolina. Tell you, if there is a finer facility, basketball arena than this one, I haven't seen it. It is spectacular. It just sparkles here. Duke on an 18-8 run to get back within 3 and with possession.
Florida goes to his zone for the first time in this game. 2-3. Wide.
That one was in and out.
Yep. Didn't look like Duke was ready for that zone because nobody really prepared to take a shot against it. Still had to take it on himself.
Brett Brown, three-pointer.
Guy that made that was Dimitri Hill. He caught the ball, widened himself out, set the good screen. Grant Hill got stuck. There we see the zone again.
Clark trying to answer the three. He does.
Line driver from right out in front of his face. Big minutes by Marty Clark, the senior.
Hill on the blocks. Brown. Last touch by Meek. Brown was starting to lose control of it. Lang and Capel return for Duke. Collins out along with Meek.
And the one guy who has not come out, I don't believe today, is Grant Hill. Jim, I think back almost, 20 years ago today, the UCLA-NC State game in the semifinals, one of the greatest ones ever played. Bill Walton's club getting beat in a double overtime game. I was looking at that stat. Walton played all 50 minutes, as did Monty Tao and Mo Rivers for NC State. So some guys retired that day. Look at the offensive rebounding.
Swatted away by Parks, but Florida gets it back. They had some chippies underneath.
And he'll want that ball right back. Slaps his hand, say, come on, guys, I'm open inside here.
Speaking of anniversary dates, it was 11 years ago today, that famous semifinal Houston-Louisville game.
One of the best ever played. Who would have ever thought that 2 nights later, NC State would take it.
Ross, he's 0 for 5 in this half.
Another offensive rebound.
Hawks gets his second block on this trip. Last touch by Duke. Cherokee's specialized in blocks this season, set a Duke mark with 71, including 10 in one game against Clemson.
Here's the block, but Florida able to battle and keep that possession of the ball. They've had a lot of touches here and attempts for Duke to not get it back.
Florida's made 1 of its last 9 shots.
Duke stays in an awful wide matchup zone right here. There should be an opening inside.
There's one outside.
There it is.
And he has really cooled off this half. Capel swings it around to Lang underneath.
I wonder how long Lon Kruger will stay in his zone. Now, we haven't seen Duke really have a chance to attack. He came out to give him a little bit different look. I think there's 2 different reasons why the coaches are going zone here. I think in Mike Krzyzewski's case is to slow down things a little bit, let his club rest somewhat in that zone. And Lon Kruger's, it was just to get a little different look. I think he'll go back to man here shortly.
Brett Brown with his first personal. Lang will shoot one more to try to get Duke within 1. Billy, we talked about it earlier. Duke lost to Virginia on this floor in the ACC tournament. And then Mike Krzyzewski did not take the bus ride back home with his team. And the seniors, Lang and Hill and Clark, got a team meeting going back on the bus back to Durham.
Great strip.
Clark got it.
From behind. Terrific block by Marty Clark.
Hill, three-pointer.
Grant Hill did not follow his shot. He would have had the long offensive rebound. It's been one and done for Duke, and Florida doing a much better job on the offensive boards.
That was a shot, though, Billy, for the lead.
Yep.
Duke having come back from 13 down in this half.
And they get out of their zone, go back to man-to-man.
Brown dumps it to Kuzma.
Kuzma maybe trying to take a shot there that's not in his repertoire. Florida's shot selection has changed in this second half. First half, wait. The ball was in the hands of the right guy at the right time.
And backing into him, kind of accidentally, was Grant Hill. And he's called for his second.
And again, Dimitri Hill showing those powerful hands of his. Hard to strip him.
Andrew DeClerc returns. Kuzma out. 8 minutes remaining here. Florida 56, Duke 55. Hill and one.
Oh, he loved it in there. Jim, let's set the stage for Dimitri Hill. In the Rainbow Classic against Louisville, and we've talked about the outstanding play by Rozier on the inside. We'll see Hill again. He had 28 points, 9 rebounds against Louisville. Came right back against Country Reeves from Oklahoma State, had 20 points there. He's having a huge afternoon here.
More importantly, those two college basketball stars, Rozier and Reeves, combined had only 11 points and 10 rebounds. Total, you add them up against Hill.
And Hill put his hands down on the floor right now to say, hey, I can do that huge move.
By the way, Marty Clark at the other end, Billy, got his 4th personal. And Grant Hill, mother and father, love that move.
1-point lead for Florida. Should be arrested Cross. He's had a chance to sit on the bench a little bit and has really cooled off here in the second half. Hasn't been looking for his shot that much.
Going the other way. Call them for traveling. An official's timeout. Florida 58-57.
Chip on CBS.
7:11 remaining. Jim Nance, Billy Packer. Shooting-wise, Billy.
Well, Jim, in the first half, Duke, as you can see, only shot 36%. In the 5 games they lost this year, they shot under 41. They're coming back right now with a big second half, 50% shooting. Florida doesn't give up 50% very often.
When Duke shoots 50% for the game, they're 13-0 this season.
I'll tell you another interesting thing. Florida has shot 20 free throws, Duke 19. In the 5 games that Duke lost, as opposed to their great free throw shooting percentage normally, the opponents have shot more fouls than they have. So Florida on track.
Lang with the move. That is now 3 times that Duke has had a chance to take the lead and come up empty.
Look, that's a shot he's hit earlier.
Oh, this time. He didn't call it.
Jimmy, he had no clue that that ball was going to go in. I mean, that was high, hard, and long.
Capel. But don't get the other end, Billy.
And Grant Hill doesn't touch the ball on either possession where Duke has a chance to take the lead. Good idea.
Really quick with that one.
That's 0 for 7 for Cross, Jim, second half?
Second half.
Yep.
Hasn't made one. Lang got position, lays it in.
One of the few times that the clerk did not beat his man to the spot.
And Parks got it into him.
Notice how the Florida guards bury themselves down in the pack, and then they bounce out, picking up all those screens they can on the way.
Inside, Hill. Boy, he made some good moves.
Great
spins out. Duke ball.
Hold on. I think the referee missed that. That ball was touched. Not by Duke last, but by Marty Clark last. You see it right here. A nice change by the official. How about that footwork by Dimitri Hill?
Thought he was going to make it.
Yep. And here you'll see Marty Clark's going to get a piece of this last. There it is.
Clark has 4 personals. The clerk gets so excited even when an official makes a call, he pumps his fist into the air.
Well, that was nice teamwork by the official. One had a better look.
And reach around on Cherokee.
You know, one of the things about guarding Dimitri Hill that must be tough for 7-foot centers is you never have any practice against a guy like this. You know, it's one thing to say, okay, we're going to work on interior defense, and you work against another man about your height, but he goes out there with such a wide body, he catches you on his hip.
Only the first on Parks. Lob to Clark.
Ball telegraphed on that pass, so Cherokee could get over to stop the lob. See right here, Cherokee saw that one coming all the way. DeClerc had that back screen. It's amazing how many times Florida is able to regain possession, Jim, either with an offensive rebound or a ball that's knocked out of bounds. Getting a lot of different opportunities to shoot it.
They can get some long trips down at one end of the floor.
Parks goes out too far on Thompson. He's not a guy who's going to shoot from there.
Wow. That one went into the second row.
And when we talk about offensive rebounding today, Florida, Jim, doubling Duke. 15 offensive rebounds to 7. And again, Duke with a chance for a tie or the lead.
That's one reason why Florida shot more free throws.
And now they put the ball in Grant Hill's hands.
So the fourth time, Billy, Duke in this half to take the lead. This time they do it, Grant Hill.
Well, I wondered why they didn't put it in his hands the first time.
Marty Clark saves it, steals it, saves it.
All of a sudden, and you see Ron Kruger standing up telling his guys to calm down. Florida making some funny judgments. They go 1-4 again.
Cherokee.
Big miss. He had exactly what Duke wanted on that play. Ron Kruger, twice MVP of the Big 8, tells his guys to settle down.
Brown. Tough shot. Parks firmly takes the rebound.
Both teams having the ball in the hands of quality players and can't get it to drop.
Florida, Billy, at the other end has made only 3 of its last 16 from the field. Duke with the 1-point lead, looking to add to it. Got a piece of Hill. Call it on Thompson.
Do you think we'll see Grant Hill with the ball in his hands a little bit over the next 3 minutes?
I think a little more than that, yeah. Got 23 points. Going to the... I'm going to say that was a shooting situation. He'll shoot a couple.
It was funny yesterday in the layup drills, and most of the fans that come in free to watch love to watch the guys dunk. Grant Hill put on a spectacular exhibition, and he ran by us and said, you know, I'm getting a little too old for this. Kind of funny coming from a college senior of his stature, but you know, we may not see many college seniors of this stature in the future.
And you've kind of, you know, just seen his career escalate and mature right here at the Final Four. From that freshman year, way short on that one. Freshman year where he slammed it home on that super dunk to the pass in the tournament the next year to Lakeland.
And you know what he said to Brown? Are you okay?
Timeout called by Florida.
How about that sportsmanship?
They both hit the floor pretty hard. Hill, 24 points, 13 in this half. Duke back in front. Each team has used a timeout and 2 fouls to go also on each side before it's a 1-and-1. The arrow belongs to Duke. Blue Devils with 4 starters on the floor. Hill, Capel, Lang, and Parks, and senior Marty Clark. Here's Florida. Florida's lineup right now. 4 starters as well, along with Jason Anderson for Thompson.
Jim, Florida loves to go to Dan Cross in these big key situations. Great block by Grant Hill. He was wide open.
Hill, after he blocked it, released. Yes, he was waiting at the other end, but no one saw him. Tough pass inside and taken back by Florida. Brown, three-pointer. Oh, he hit a big one here, too, just like he did at the regional. Florida in front by 1.
Brown's 3 3-pointers broke the back of Boston College.
What a 1-minute flurry that was, Billy. plus a block shot and a rebound against BC in about a 1-minute span. 3 threes and all of that. Capel, three-pointer. That's the 19th lead change of this game.
Now the freshman comes back after making a play that throws it away. Comes back and hits a huge three. Releases some air out of his mouth after that one. Boy, you're asking Capel to do a lot, too, with that assignment on Cross. Because you know Cross is going to want to take it.
Hill. Rebound for Duke. 2 minutes to go. Duke leads by 2. Anderson on the reach-in.
And Jim, Duke, fortunately, gets 2 shooting fouls by Grant Hill because they are not yet in the 1-and-1. Amazing to see Duke University with 1:55 to go and a half, not in a 1-and-1 situation. Normally by now they're shooting 2.
For Anderson, his 4th foul.
This young man, Grant Hill, the first guy ever in ACC to have 1,800 points, 700 rebounds, 400 assists, 200 steals, and 100 blocks.
Almost kept alive by Parks, but rebound to Florida.
Well, Grant Hill had, on the previous occasion, one short, and that one long. Neither one rebounded by Duke.
Down the baseline, blocked from behind, tipped up by DeClerc. Cuts it to 1, 66-65, Duke.
Real power inside by DeClerc.
1:30 remaining.
And DeClerc slams the floor.
It's been a great game, Billy.
Tremendous game.
To the corner, Clark, jumper. Anderson rebound. Florida has a chance to go back in front.
Then Duke on three-point shots is pulling way back and not getting any offensive rebounds because they're not closing the gap. Florida getting all of the offensive boards.
Now with under a minute to go. It was Brown who hit the big shots at the regional. Cross this time has it stripped away by Marty Clark. Cross was making his move, and Marty Clark made the play.
Now, they will have to give up the ball, will do.
11-second difference. Game clock to shot clock.
Dangerous pass. Cross would have been off to the races with that one.
Grant Hill wants it. Grant Hill has 10 seconds on the shot clock to Capel. Capel in traffic. Big shot. Too strong. Rebound. Parks puts it back in.
One of the few, if not the first, offensive rebound for Duke all day. Charge.
There's the charge. Timeout called by Duke.
From
Florida 65.
That's the celebration after the big defensive play by Antonio Lang drawing the charge.
Duke basketball at midcourt with 10.8 seconds remaining.
And smart play by Grant Hill. Get rid of the ball. Don't let anybody foul you.
Keep away time. Clark in the corner. Lang right on. Finish it off with a dunk. The Clark three. Duke comes back from 13 down, and they're headed to Monday night's final against Arkansas.
For a diehard
is going to the national championship game. Yes, they are. 70-65 over Florida on a beautiful night in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so we're set for Monday night. It'll be Duke and Arkansas at 9 o'clock. Our coverage kicks off with prelude to a championship, and then the game at 9:22. Mike Krzyzewski said earlier in the week, not a great team, but a good team with a lot of heart. And Jim Nance is standing by with a guy who has a whole lot of heart and a whole lot of talent. Jimmy?
Boy, he does it that, Pat O'Brien. Grant Hill, 25 points. How did you guys come back from 13 in the second half?
Well, at halftime, Coach just told us to calm down and show our poise out there. The first half, Florida did a great job of really taking it to us. And I think all of us in the second half really came out and just calmed down and played good basketball.
Chance for another championship ring on Monday night. What would the third one mean to you?
It would mean a lot. I'd have one up on Christian and those guys, so I'd have bragging rights for the summer. But it would mean a lot.
Coach K, you called the timeout early in the second half. What at that point did you tell the Blue Devils?
Well, I thought we didn't come out with the fire that we talked about at halftime. And I said, there's 19 minutes to go. Like, let's settle down. I thought when we went down by, I think it was 13 or... 13, yeah. Yeah, 13. From that point on, our defense went up, and then Grant really took over. Grant was a big-time player.
Mike, I want to say something also about another senior that did a heck of a job.
Are you two divorced or not?
Well, that's a great point, Billy, because Marty Clark has not played like he has in the regular season in the tournament. He's not played well. And for him to step up like he did and have a week of practice that he did shows the maturity that our senior class has given us. That's a great point. He was as big a factor in our win as Grant Hill was.
You're playing against a ball club's almost a mirror of image of you in defense of the things that you try to do at Duke. I think a great testimony to the job that Lon Kruger's done.
Yeah,
with
they're
that club.
great. You know what? I think they really are quicker than we are, and they play with a little bit more poise because their guards can handle it. We were just very fortunate to come back on them. I love the way they play. They're one of maybe the best defensive team we've played all year.
Well, get ready for another one. SEC will be meeting you on Monday night.
How about that one real quick, Mike?
Well, we're going to have a problem with their depth. We got to be careful. We expended a lot of energy tonight. We got to get these guys off their feet and stop this interview so we can get them some rest.
We're getting hammered all day by you guys. You're out of here.
I'll tell you what, he was off his feet, though. Pretty good airtime there for Coach K on that replay we saw.
Yeah, I've never seen Coach jump that high before. He said he could dunk it back when he played, but I'm doubting that. I don't know, but he looked pretty high there. Maybe he can.
All right, we'll see you Monday night, guys. Back to Pat O'Brien.
Thank you, Jim. You talk about a familiar place. Duke has been to the national championship game 7 times, folks, and they're celebrating once again. Duke fans all over the country. Our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, the Hills. Dimitri Hill of Florida in a losing cause, 16 points, 9 rebounds. A lot of fun to watch him play. And Grant Hill, 25 points and 5 assists. And Coach Pitino, 2 great games today. The second game was terrific, too.
2 unbelievable games. The first game was more up and down than the second one, but 2 outstanding defensive teams played the second game. And Grant Hill took over, but as we said, Monty Clark did a great job from the perimeter, and Hill isolating one-on-one both at the top and on that little curl play down low was the difference in the game.
One of the things you and I talked about, little subtle thing, Dimitri Hill, a big guy, awful lot of strength. It's hard to make an adjustment on the shot with a big hand in your chest like that, but Cherokee Park came through very strong.
The big hustle play at the end of the game, that was special because now Florida can come back and make the last shot and win the ball game. Here you see it. It's Florida's ball right now, only Cherokee comes down with it, makes the layup, and puts it out of reach.
We'll be back with more. We'll talk to JB and the coach about Monday night's game, and we'll hear from the Florida side. When we come back, Lon Kruger will be down with Leslie Visser in a moment as Final Four Day here on CBS continues. In fact, we'll be back in one shining moment. Used to say there's no winning and losing at this level. There's winning and misery, and Florida will go through a few days of misery, but they made a lot of friends in this tournament. Coming up next here on CBS, Walker Texas Ranger. We hope you stay tuned for that. And speaking of Florida, they did make a lot of friends in this tournament. And after the game, Leslie Visser caught up with Coach Lon Kruger, and here's how that went.
For the first time, Florida was unable to find a way. Lon, tremendous effort, but how did it unravel at the end?
Well, really, really great effort by both teams. You know, I thought at the end, Duke played a little smarter than we did. They made the plays they had to make. Certainly got to credit them. They did a great job. And you know, just got a great player in Grant and a lot of very good players around him, but really proud of our guys.
You had a little bit of a cold spell in the second half. What changed from the first half?
Well, I thought we went through a stretch there where we had trouble scoring, but you got to credit Duke again. You know, we'd go up 11 or 13, and then they turn it up a little bit. We don't quite get the same look that we've been getting earlier, but you know, what a good basketball game. You know, I'm so proud of our guys. You know, happy for Duke, but certainly disappointed for our guys. But we'll bounce back.
Not many people expected you to be here. Could you put in perspective what this season meant to you and your fans?
Well, it was just a fun run. You know, I think our guys have totally enjoyed the weekend. I think our fans have enjoyed it. I don't think they knew really what this was all about. So really happy for them, and it's a great experience. We'll learn from it.
I think you've made a lot of new fans. Thank you very much, Lon.
Thank you.
We had a lot of fun being around those people, and especially I enjoyed his son, Kevin, 10-year-old Kevin.
Smart man, too quick.
Let's talk about Monday night real quick. How about that matchup, Coach?
It's going to be a great game. I think you'll see Arkansas try and disrupt this Duke team more than they have so far in the NCAA tournament. I think they're really going to try to trap Grant Hill, make him pass the basketball, and I think they're going to lay heavy, heavy pressure on the backcourt.
And speaking of that disruption that Arkansas will try to cause, I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on the decision-making of Jeff Capel in the backcourt. Chris Collins has not had a very good tournament since the first game. The fact that he sat down and Marty Clark played a lot, I think that's going to step up big. And, Pat, we have to talk about the bonding that we've done with this guy.
Well, I was going to say, the last 2 weeks with you have been great. We know you have 2 assistant coaching jobs open. I could be looking for work.
Half of Corliss Williamson, you're both hired.
Thanks. Been a lot of fun, Coach. Thanks for having me.
Likewise, Rick.
Good luck to you. Have a good summer. That does it, by the way, for this Saturday at the Final Four. We again thank Coach Rick Pitino for sharing his insights with us today. And let's set the lineup for the rest of this busy few days of basketball. Now, on Monday night, we'll be on the air at 9 o'clock Eastern with Prelude to a Championship. And then at 9:22, Duke and Arkansas will play for the national championship. We've made it to that. Now, tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, it's the McDonald's All-American High School basketball game, followed by the American Ski Classic, and at 3:45 Eastern, the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship, Louisiana Tech against North Carolina. Folks, it's been a great afternoon and a great evening of basketball here on CBS. We've all enjoyed bringing it to you and providing you with the best seat in the house. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over the weekend. I'm Pat O'Brien for James Brown and Rick Pitino, Jim Nance and Billy Packer, and Leslie Visser for all of us at CBS. Thank you, and good night, everybody.
Genuine jockey. Genuine jockey, yeah.
Real quality, real fit. No wonder guys feel comfortable with Jockey.
Genuine jockey.